Why do we cook? We cook for food, for family, and for friends. We cook to bring people together.
Honey, that looks good. Pardon my fork.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Pardon My Fork. This, of course, is your host, Andy, and we have got an all-grilling show for you today. We've got a special guest lined up, and we're going to be talking a lot about live fire cooking. It's something that we've talked about on the show before, and it's something that I am very passionate about, and I want to do more of, and I want to encourage more people to do. So let's get right into it. You guys are undoubtedly familiar with this brand name, Kudu Grills. I have Stebin Horne on the phone. Are you there, my brother?
I am.
You are the inventor of the Kudu grill, which, by the way, is one of my favorite things. I'm a huge proponent of live fire cooking. Anyone that listens to my show knows this. And I got to say, it's an honor to have you on. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's exciting to be here, and I'm always excited to talk about what we're doing and everything we're doing with the Kudu and open fire cooking. It's an exciting time.
I get the feeling like you were probably a proponent of open fire cooking, but you were looking for kind of a better way to do it. I mean, when I look at the Kudu grill, it's kind of like, yeah, this is everything that I would have done had I realized that, you know, live fire cooking was a problem and I wanted to make it a little easier.
Well, that's right. I've always cooked my whole life. Not a professional cook by any stretch of the imagination. And I met my second wife in Atlanta, and she was from South Africa. And I traveled to South Africa to meet her family once things got more serious. And the first time that I was there, I traveled to her brother's farm off of the Indian Ocean in KwaZulu-Natal. It's outside of Durban. And he's a farmer. He raises beef cattle, Bonsmara cattle to be specific. And he's also a corn farmer. And being from South Georgia, I was pretty accustomed to that sort of lifestyle. And he pulls out this grill, and it's this rusted plow disc with this little bar on it, this grill surface. And it goes up and down. It doesn't move in and out like the Kudu does, but I asked him, I'm like, what is this thing? Because I had a Kamado grill at home and I had a gas grill at home in America. And he said, this is the African TV. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, I'm going to light it and you're going to sit here and watch it the next 5 hours. And we did just that. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, this grill was this focal point. And, you know, I had seen, fire pit cookers in America and been camping my whole life, but this was different. This was like a cooking system that was countertop height, and it had this versatility to it that was really unique. And I said, you know, that's pretty cool. But then everybody's house that I went to in South Africa, or everyone's farm or what have you, everywhere you traveled, there was this thing they called a braai, and it was an open fire cooker. They cook on fire in their home. They cook on fire outside their home. They cook on fire everywhere you go. And it's because of the intrinsic value that it adds to the process. And I'm convinced that that's why these folks seem infinitely more happy as a people than we do, but they have so much less access to things that we would think would make life easier. And so I just was absolutely captivated by it and wanted to bring something like that back to the United States and also bring in some improvements to the product. So that's where I made a deeper fire base, although it's only 5 inches deep, and there's a reason behind that. We can get into that shortly. And then not only have a grill that goes up and down and move laterally as well, but also a large cast iron skillet, because being from the South, cast iron cooking is a really big deal, and it's really, come back in popularity. And so I wanted to have that as my base model, to be cooking over multiple cooking surfaces at one time, all over a charcoal or wood burning fire. And that's where I was, inspired to come up with with such a product.
Just to start us off here, what does the name Kudu mean?
So a kudu is an African antelope. It's arguably the most beautiful antelope in southern Africa. It's got these spiral horns, and it's an amazing animal. It can when you go to Africa, most of the plains game, the wild animals, the lions, the leopards, etc., are either in national parks like Kruger National Park or their own game farms. And those farms are large pieces of property that keep these animals alive, essentially. It's conservation at its finest, hundreds of thousands of acres of property that protects these animals. And you can go to these different farms on photo safaris or, hunting or whatever, kind of pick your poison on that side of the aisle. But what's unique about it is that when you go to a farm, let's say you're going for a photo safari and to spend some time out in the veld, as they would say in South Africa, they'll tell you we have 2,000 zebras, 200 elephant, 50 rhino, 18 cheetah, 50 lion, and they go down the list, hartebeest, wildebeest, springbok, etc. But when it gets to the kudu, they'll joke and they'll say, well, we have 20 kudu, but nobody owns a kudu. And the reason is because they can jump flat-footed like 15 feet in the air. So all these high game fences that keep in lions and leopards and elephants and giraffes and everything else doesn't keep in a kudu. And it's just an amazing animal, and I was captivated by it. And I thought it would be a really cool name for the grill. And what inspired me was because I wanted to bring this culture of live fire cooking from South Africa and how they do it to America. What's really cool is open fire cooking is such a big deal to South Africans that September 24th is known as National Heritage Day, also known as National Braai Day. And that is the day that you have 11 different nationalities within one country, 11 different official languages, where the whole country takes the day off and they're encouraged to go out and grill out together. And the reason is because they realize that fire and food are the two things that have brought humans together from our earliest times on this earth, and that it's something that's unavoidable and that we're attracted to, and it causes us to put down our differences and to enjoy one another's company. And good heavens, if we need that now more than ever, it seems like. So it was really something I was passionate about bringing that outdoor lifestyle, that South African story, all the, amazing animals from there, and the beautiful country and the geography and all that stuff, the spice route, at the Cape Point, the Cape of Good Hope, where East met West, and you had all this Malayan influence and all these flavors and spices and styles of cooking. I mean, it really was this epicenter of a culinary destination with fire. And so it was just all right there in front of me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it.
Mm-hmm. Bring a piece of that back to the U.S. I love that, man. That is such an incredible backstory. And the whole idea behind the kudu, now that I'm looking at your logo, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. The curled horn antelope and everything. And your grill, much like the kudu of Africa, cannot be contained. It is highly mobile. It can go anywhere, and it can be ready to rock and roll in minutes.
That's right. And that's what makes it a unique product, because when people think of open fire cooking, they think immediately of like burning wood. And yes, you can burn wood in the kudu, and that process though takes a while. And so that's why people like the convenience of, hey, I want to go out, I want to start some charcoal in my charcoal starter, and I want to cook on my kettle grill or my Kamado grill or my pellet grill or my gas grill. But what's unique about the South African braai, which is the kudu, is it's very shallow. So you can go out on a weeknight, if it's just you and your family or you and your wife or what have you, and you can start a charcoal fire in the kudu and be cooking in like 20 minutes and cook a few steaks and some vegetables simultaneously, and it all comes off the grill perfectly. And when your steaks are ready to rest, but you still need to finish your vegetables, you just raise them up or you push them off to the side. And it's like one seamless, simple motion that takes 2 seconds, and then you're still at the grill. And you can finish the vegetables or do whatever else you're doing. And then on the flip side, if you want to start and do something like a larger protein, or maybe you're cooking ribs for the afternoon, you can start a nice fire and give that 30 or 40 minutes to burn down to embers. And we teach you all of these things on our site, on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram. We have recipes from all over the country with our Bry Masters that are helping people, learn that open fire cooking is a very simple process. It's not to be intimidating, and that, it's such a simple product. If what you're cooking isn't cooking fast enough, you simply lower it. If it's cooking too fast, you simply raise it up. You always have access to your charcoal. So it starts to get a little cooler or you need more heat, then you can easily just add that. You don't have to start over, which is really nice. And then to your point, it is very portable. The entire apparatus weighs less than 70 pounds. We've got a carrying case coming out in June. This thing will pack up 10 inches tall, 24 inches wide, all your cooking accessories in one bag. And you can take it tailgating, you can take it camping, you can take it to the beach, to the mountains. And it's also there on your back porch where you can master this style of cooking. My wife loves to travel, but she told me, Stebin, if we're going to travel the way you like to travel, just know that I still want to eat well. And that was part of my inspiration, because why should you have to sacrifice good food, flavorful food, just because you go to a remote destination? I mean, that shouldn't be the case. And the Kudu allows you to do that. You can easily go somewhere away from home and still have fantastic food that enhances the experience of wherever you're at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You've definitely designed this with overlanding in mind. I know that you're a big overlander. That is something that we talk about over on my other show, Booze, Booze, and Barbecue. I don't know how many of my listeners at Pardon My Fork are actually like car people, but I'll tell you what, man, I really am starting to understand where a lot of this comes from. That African influence, and then your background as an overlander. It's all really starting to come together. I had a thought while you were talking, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that the Kudu grill is 5 inches deep. And so this whole time I've been sitting here thinking, why 5 inches? What's the importance of that? And now I'm starting to realize, if you set up a fire with some logs in there, it 5 inches deep, it still has airflow to have that fire going and keep that fire going. But once it burns down to coals, they're going to be below that rim. And so you're kind of limiting the airflow to it, which means they won't burn out quite so hot, quite so fast, right?
That's correct. It's such an efficient product. And people always want to know about the airflow because there are no holes on the bottom of it. It's a complete sealed dish, but it's only 5 inches deep. There's 2 Kudu cutouts on either side. That may enhance airflow a little bit in those areas. And we've got a low and slow method that's really fun, where you can bank just a little bit of charcoal on one side where the letters are, and that gets this airflow and it stays nice and hot. And then you can pull those coals over to the middle or the other side, and you can run 250 degrees all day long, checking on it every 20 or 30 minutes. But to your point, it gets plenty of oxygen to burn nice and hot, being only 5 inches deep. There's no problem getting that fuel to burn nice and hot. And then to your, once the coals and embers are ready, then they will stay nice and hot for a long time. So I'm not using any more fuel than someone that uses a Weber kettle grill. Mm-hmm. And some people look at it and they're like, well, gosh, this is so inefficient because it's open. Well, some people are like, well, I love to use a Kamado grill because I spend a little bit more money on charcoal. Maybe I spend $25, $30 a bag for some quality charcoal. But when I'm done cooking, I just shut it down and I can reuse it a couple more times. Well, you do the exact same thing with the Kudu. We have a smoker lid that's designed. Once you cook on it, you use the smoker lid, you gather your coals in the middle. They're still hot. They're, 70% unused. And you put that smoker lid right there on top, and it chokes it out. Next time you go to cook, you just raise that up. There's your charcoal, and you start over on your next cooking endeavor. So it's super efficient. We've given you all the tools to really enjoy the open fire, and then the simplicity and visual aspect of the product. Because when I was in South Africa, we would talk about it because I had a Kamado grill, I had a gas grill. They're like, look, man, like you Americans want to cover up all the fun. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, well, everything you guys cook on has a lid. We want to see the food. We want to hear the food. We want to smell the food. And there's no such thing as manning the grill in South Africa. Like the grill is the party. Everyone is around it. If you're a child, if you're an adult, if you're someone who's older, they're there to experience everything together. And it's really an awesome thing. And there's obviously times where a lid is critically important. When you're smoking something, when you're cooking something that maybe you want to melt cheese on a cheeseburger, even all that. So that's a part of the Kudu product. But I also got to understand, like, you can get plenty of smoke in a steak and it be open over the open fire. It'll get plenty of flavor. Smoke is, Francis Mallman always talks about how acrid smoke is and how little smoke you need to have a big impact on flavor, particularly on sensitive proteins like fish, chicken, maybe vegetables. So harness that power of being open and having this nice, fresh flavor where it's not over smoked. Everything has balance: salt, pepper, oils, seasonings, smoke, your fire, your embers. It all goes into the final dish. And so, some people always say, like, your grill is as important as your ingredients. And so that's why we really focus on Kudu being a cooking system. It's not a fire pit first. It is a fire pit afterwards. And we've created a really cool attachment called the fire rings that you put on after you've cooked. You've got hot embers. Everyone's now, had dinner. They're sitting around, and you drop some wood in on the Kudu, and now it's this vertical fire feature that is magnificent. But we're a cooking system first, and we want to teach people that. It's something that we're passionate about.
No, I 100% agree with you. And, I'll tell you, it's so underrated, the live fire cooking, because you really can do anything in it. If you've got, like you said, the cast iron is so important, but if you've got a Dutch oven, I mean, you can be doing so much stuff in there and literally just setting it like in the bottom of this Kudu grill and stacking some coals up against it, Heck, I know people who have baked bread in Dutch ovens before.
We do that all the time. We've got South Africa has a cast iron system called a potjie. It's a Dutch oven, and it's on 3 legs, so you get air underneath it. Actually, we released our Kudu potjie in June of this year, along with the carrying case that we mentioned earlier, and a single point rotisserie that we just got the patent on that I'm excited to talk to you about as well. But this is an enameled Dutch oven. It looks like La Crusade. It's gorgeous. It's this dark green, like our branding. And we sell it with a hook, so you can raise it, 10 inches off the fire and do a chili or something nice, low and slow. Or like you said, you can bring it down, put it in the Kudu fire base, put some coals on top of it, bake bread. I did an oxtail stew 2 days ago. It took me about 3.5 hours. It was unbelievable, and it was so simple, the whole process. And so you're right, this whole cast iron Dutch oven open fire space, it's really easy, and we're teaching people that this type of cooking has such intrinsic value in what we call experiential cooking, where your guests and the people you care about, your family and friends, all your loved ones, are there to come together, and they will remember this differently than if you had come over and cooked with them maybe on something different or inside in the oven or what have you. So it's really a big thing, and we're really excited about all the innovation that we're constantly doing to add accessories to this product, because we've got so many things, and we wanted to create a product that you would be using all the time. So the cast iron skillet that you get with the base model, it's 16 inches wide and it's 4 inches deep. And that cast iron skillet lives on your range or on your oven constantly being used throughout the week. And then when it's time to grill, you take it out and put it on the Kudu. Same with our side stand. Our side stand is a butcher block. The whole idea is you keep it inside and you cut your vegetables on it and use it for that. But then when it's time that you need a side tray out there on your grill, you just take it out there and use the attachment. So we've tried to really come up with products that have multiple uses, both when using the product and when not using the product.
I think that's brilliant because a lot of people are looking for something that can be used in, more ways than one, but that's really kind of an understatement with the system that you've gotten. So when a person buys your grill, if they buy the package, let me see here. I think it comes in at just like a $640, which, when people are looking at grills, a good Kamado is going to cost you more than that, way more than that. A pellet grill is going to cost you more than that. I mean, you're falling right into the price point where people would expect to buy something that's a high quality grill, but it comes with so much more. I'm a little shocked by that. Was that your original intent to have it come with so much stuff? And I mean, when you're talking about the Blaze package at $640, that's your smoker top, that's the cover, that's everything. I mean, if a person wanted just I'm using air quotes, basic Kudu, it still comes with the grill. It comes with the cast iron pan. Like, you've really kind of packaged it in a way where people don't just get the fire base. They don't just get the pit and then figure it out from themselves. You include everything that they need in order to get the thing going.
So our most basic model, what we call the Kudu, you're right, comes with both the 20-inch grill, stainless steel. It's not a powder coated product. It's a nano ceramic. We've made a significant investment in the rigidity and longevity of the powder coat ceramic exterior because we wanted to be able to offer a 5-year warranty to our customers. I mean, we tell our customers that just because you buy a Kudu doesn't mean we don't own it anymore. I mean, we own it when it's in your backyard. When something breaks, we own it. When something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, we own it and we stand behind it. And we make sure that as a client and customer of ours, you're always happy. And so out of the box, we wanted to have the cast iron skillet and the grill available for under $500. So that comes out at $499. But then to your point, when you get up into that $650 product for the Inferno or the Blaze package, you're getting some incredible accessories that make it a one-stop shop at a very competitive price because now you can smoke and you've got the grill cover to protect it. You've got tongs that we bring in from South Africa, and we've got all these unique things. We're going to be making the fire rings a part of that package. We're going to be making a rotisserie sometimes as part of that package. And so we want to be able to offer a really quality product with a 5-year warranty that's building an incredible lifestyle around cooking at a very affordable price because, for a lot of people, this is another part of their ensemble. They've got that Kamado grill, they've got that wood pellet grill, they got that gas grill, or they got a smoker. But now, like, I can be doing a nice chicken on my smoker, but when people come over, I'm doing appetizers on the Kudu, I'm doing vegetables on the Kudu. Afterwards, it's my fire pit. We're all hanging around it, having drinks, and it's this lifestyle that is really awesome. And then some days you go soup to nuts with 2 to 3 dishes on the product and don't use anything else. And you're cooking at multiple heights, at multiple temperatures with in a very seamless process. So that was really our idea behind the product and wanting it to be something that was available to a lot of people. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive either. And with that 5-year warranty, we're saying that we believe in what we're doing and we're going to stand behind it.
I love it, man. I love the passion, and I have thoughts. We do have to take a real quick break, but stay with us. Stebin's going to be coming right back. We're going to be talking more about the amazing Kudu grill, so stay tuned. Hey folks, odds are if you love this show, and I know you do, then you are a foodie and a food sport enthusiast. That's why I'm encouraging you to go and check out the Spoonie radio network on iHeartMedia. They've got a ton of great hosts over there, including Patrick Mosier, Mark Conway, Trey Chapman, Randy White, and so many more. So make sure to head over there and get your foodie fix on the Spoonie radio network. And we're back with Stebin Horne talking about Kudu Grill. So, I had some thoughts, my friend. Like I said, I love live fire cooking. I have a cowboy grill right now, and it's a fire pit first and foremost. So it wasn't built in the style that you built yours, right? It was built, it's a big fire pit. It does have kind of a flimsy grate that swings over the top. And I'm saying flimsy in the most, what's the word I'm looking for? In the kindest way, in the most respectful way I can. But that's just what it is. It's flimsy. And so when I put my cast iron on it, I know it's going to flex, and I have to be careful where I set my cast iron on it, right? Because I know that it's going to flex down under the weight. But I love cooking on the thing every single weekend. It's what the wife and I look forward to in the mornings, is going out there on a brisk morning, taking our coffees out there and getting the cast iron out. I, toast some bread over the fire. We get the eggs and bacon going. Like, it's just one of our favorite things to do. And one thing that I have always lamented is it's very difficult for me to set the logs up like upright, right? I think most people know what a Swedish torch is. You know what that is, right?
I do.
So, for those at home that don't, the Swedish torch is you take your log 14 inches high or 12 inches high or whatever, and you either split it in equal portions or you take a chainsaw 6 different ways, and then you light it, and it basically burns from the center. And what happens is all of that fire is directed up, and that gives you a nice hot focal point to cook on. And one of the things that I have the most trouble with my grill is I don't have a good way of doing that. Like, I'm trying to kind of stack my logs so that they're in a teepee, that sort of thing. And then here I am, I'm talking to you, and I'm looking at your fire rings, which stand the wood upright. And I'm just going, oh my gosh, why had I never thought of that? And now that I see you with it, I'm like, hang on a second. That's really kind of perfect for this thing, because if a person wants to have that focused, direct heat while their wood is burning down into coals for the rest of their cook, they can just throw the cast iron over that and cook something hot and fast if they needed to.
But they certainly could. And what's cool about that is when you're done with the fire rings, they're removable. But when you look at the design of the Kudu, it is meant to be very different than the cowboy cooker that you have, because most grills, in fact, almost all grills except the Kudu, have a rounded bottom. And the reason is because they want to generate the maximum amount of energy for the entire cooking surface. Well, unfortunately, that's not how science works. And the engineering that initially said, let's make it rounded, was just kind of creating a collection point, which ultimately kind of chokes out a lot of the air for some of these products unless they're vented like a kettle grill or something. So what's cool about the Kudu is that it's flat. So I can get a super hot fire going on one side of my grill, and I can be searing steaks, and then I can raise them up and let them finish high up. And then on the other side, I can just have a handful of coals, and I could be doing a sauce for that same steak on that same grill, low and slow. It's no different than the versatility that you might get from a gas grill with a side burner. Because when that lid's closed on that gas grill, it has one temperature. Mm-hmm. But on the Kudu, because it's open, you can have 3 or 4 things at 3 or 4 different temperatures, all with different apparatuses. And so that flat bottom is a critical element to the versatility of the Kudu grill.
Gosh, I had never thought about that, but you're totally right. When you have that rounded bottom, it focuses that heat basically into one place. I mean, it's an even distribution, but it doesn't really matter where you put the coals. It's all going to go up over the entire thing, huh?
That's correct.
Man, I had not thought
And
about that.
Yeah, so you're able to do so many different things on the Kudu, and it's, for the listeners that don't know, we're only talking about a 24-inch round fire base. This isn't a big grill. This is no bigger than a large Weber kettle. And so it goes on, it's meant to be a backyard warrior's grill that wants to go out there, like you said, and in the morning light your fire. And I mean, gosh, you talk about, we live the same life because my wife and kids, they want to go out there and do pancakes in the cast iron while we're grilling bacon. And what's cool, bacon is so fatty, but grilled bacon to me is so amazing because the flavor and the smokiness. So you can get that bacon started, and then you can raise it up 2 feet above the fire to let it finish. And the fire cannot consume the bacon because bacon's so easy to burn, but you can't burn bacon on the Kudu unless you just leave it down there at the bottom. And then you're doing pancakes and eggs. And we take our charcoal starters, and we've taught people, look, this is simply another platform to cook over. You just flip your charcoal starter over, and now it's just another eye that you can put another pan from inside your house. So maybe, you're doing grits in that or something. It's really so much fun, and we have a great time with it.
Yeah, because your coal baskets that it comes with, they have, they're not fully enclosed. They have mesh on one side. So you don't really have to worry about if you flip it over, you still get plenty of heat distribution.
Yeah, you get really a lot, especially when it's so low and concentrated.
That is fascinating.
So, and that was our inspiration for our patented rotisserie that launches in June. So every rotisserie that I've ever seen goes between 2 points. And so if you're using it on a grill, you have pretty much said that for this dish, I'm going to be using this grill for this rotisserie, just like a pizza oven. If I'm doing a pizza on a big green egg, well, that's all I'm doing on the big green egg for that evening. Whereas in the Kudu, I can be doing a pizza on my grill, and I can be doing the vegetables for the pizza right beside it on one product. And so this rotisserie attaches only to one of our elevation bars, and it can move both up and down, and then also laterally, right or left. So I can position this rotisserie anywhere on my Kudu and build a fire under it. In the meantime, I can be cooking 2 other dishes with the cast iron and maybe smoking some bread up on the grill or whatever higher up. And that rotisserie is turning. It holds up to 30 pounds. So it's very sturdy, and it only has one contact point. So I can be doing multiple dishes with the rotisserie. And that's going to be something that all the folks in Kudu Nation are super excited about.
That's really incredible, man. You have put a ton of thought into, well, everything about this grill. I mean, seriously, is there anything you feel like you wish you'd thought about when you first launched it?
Well, this is version 2.0, and the biggest thing that we've changed over time is our enhancements to what I'd say are weak points, like the coating. So we've, upgraded that to a ceramic, which we really love. And then the hardware now is all stainless. When you feel the bolts that you use to raise and lower the grill, you know that this thing simply is not going to break. The cooking surface is stainless. All the hardware, the feet raise up and down 3 inches. So if you're not on a level ground, you can easily adjust that. And what's cool about it is that when I initially made this product, I wanted the legs to be removable so that you could put it 10 inches off the ground and it would be like fire pit height. And then I saw my friends that had the product camping, and they were sending me pictures, and they always had the legs on them. And I called them. I'm like, hey, man, you're doing that wrong. What are you doing? And they're like, no, man, like, you're wrong. When it's countertop height with the legs on it, several things are happening. Number one, when we're sitting around our camp chairs around the Kudu, all the smoke is above us. No one is getting any smoke in their eyes. The children, when they come up to do s'mores, they're not leaning over a fire. And then when we leave there's no trash on the ground. There's no mark that we've left on the earth. It's totally clean and green. And we leave this beautiful place better than when we found it, and the legs helped us to do that. So I was, kind of surprised by that. We still have the removable legs for carrying case purposes, but we started camping with it like that. It made so much sense because now you can gather 10, 12 people around this fire sitting around it, and they're getting a ton of heat, but they're not fighting the smoke at all, which is really cool.
That is genius. I had never even thought about that, but that's very true. And you as a manufacturer, fortunately, you don't have to come out with a second set of legs that you have to include, like a 6-inch tall leg instead of a 24-inch tall leg.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Is this the first kind of product that you've come up with, or are you, is this something that you have done your whole life, just kind of see a need, fill a need?
So I've come up with a couple of other products. None of them have been successful. One of them was about 10 years ago. I called it the handy wrapper. And it was this way to help people wrap presents faster. Not that that was a big need out in the world, but it was this kind of like do-it-yourself glove that had all the elements that go into wrapping a present. I was sitting there at Macy's getting presents wrapped for my mom and sister and some other people, and I was like watching them struggle with the scissors and the tape and the this and the that and the ribbon. I'm like, why don't we just take all these things that 3M have invented and assemble it into one package? So I was practicing law at the time and was super busy with my legal practice, so I never pursued it. Like, it wasn't something that I gave a lot of attention to. But this time around, with the Kudu and the classic overland business with my defenders, I was at a transitional point in my life. And when I lived in Africa with my wife to get to know her family better, I wasn't working. And when you're not working and you're not going through that daily grind, I think you just see the world differently because you have time to stop and think about, well, why don't we do that? Or why don't we improve this? Or, I was told this story about people that work for 3M. Love them or hate them, they do invent a lot of incredible things. And I was told that for their engineers, that if any of them come up with something that the company takes on and takes to market, that the first thing they have to do is take off the next 6 months and clear their head. And in reality, that's kind of what I did, just not by my own choosing. And that's where all this came from.
Wow. This is a far cry from lawyering. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, it is. I'm a recovering lawyer. It's a 10-step process. Got to go to those weekly meetings and, one day at a time, right?
That's right. That's right. And of course, patent law is completely different from any other kind of law. I don't know what you were practicing, but do you feel like your background in law has given you some, or maybe like a leg up on creating your own product?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I use my legal background every day of my life. I was a transactional lawyer, so I did contracts and real estate and commercial business closing, things of that nature. So from just having an understanding of how businesses should be structured and what is fair and what I call healthy friction. You need healthy friction in all aspects of your life where you're not taking advantage of anyone and no one's taking advantage of you, whether that's in your personal or professional life, and everybody wins. And so that was something that I've taken into these businesses and tried to create partnerships that work for me and allow the brands to naturally evolve and be nimble enough to take advantage of where the market directs you. Because, I mean, our number one goal is as we get more of these products out into the marketplace, the feedback is incredible and the ideas. For example, when I was cooking on the Kudu grill, I'd have my smoker lid and I'd take it off and wasn't big enough to stay. It was too big to stay on the side stand. And so I'd put it on the ground. It was kind of a pain in the butt. Someone sends me a picture of them cooking on the Kudu grill and they've got the smoker lid handle in the top of the elevation bar hole, and it sits there like it was meant to go there. I'm like, oh my God, like that's such a great idea. And so there it was. That's where now everybody puts their smoker lid. That wasn't my idea, and it wasn't designed that way. Someone, that was cooking on the Kudu saw that this is where this is supposed to go. And it was like a match made to heaven. So it was really great. And we're going to get so much more of that as we get this out into the people's hands. And we're such a product that's versatile enough, and it's simple enough that when good ideas happen, we can make that happen really quickly.
It's so important for people who have their own product to listen to their customers. I know a lot of companies don't do that, or there's this feeling of tradition or whatever you want to call it. And I got to tell you, it's really refreshing to hear you talk about how, your customers say, hey, I want to do this thing, or you're seeing something that they do and you're trying to integrate that. It's an ever evolving product. And I really like that you're doing that.
Well, it is true. And, we want that feedback, and we want to be able to listen to the people that have given us a chance and believe in us and the brand we're building and the story behind the brand. And we want to be able to deliver them a similar experience. And if we can do that, I saw a picture 2 days ago of this couple with their kids out on one of the lakes in Michigan, and they were in a geographical area so distant from what I'm accustomed to, and they were cooking shish kebabs and vegetables, and the fire was going, and you could tell it was still cold up there, even in May. And I looked at my wife, and I'm like, that's it. That is what I envisioned several years ago when I said I want to bring this product to market. Like, here is this family doing exactly what I had hoped would happen, and it was really cool. And it was a really great moment for me. I see people cooking and doing various things all the time, and whether it's just a simple, chicken breast, or it's something like, something my mind that the versatility of the product, it's so easy to use, but as a lot of the chefs say, it can grow with you. It's a blank slate, so you can go as crazy as you want with this product, or you can keep it super simple and have a nice dinner in like 30 minutes and it be some of the most delicious food you've ever tasted.
I got to be honest, is I'm looking at the photos and stuff of what you have, and photos from customers and stuff like that. I'm just sitting here going, I think that about the only two things I would want out of this would be maybe a 16-inch wok that would go in the same place that the cast iron would go, and some kind of a Belgian waffle maker attachment. And I think I'd pretty much be set.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people that are using existing woks for the product, but we certainly think we need to bring one to market.
Yes. Because, I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, you're real close to having an open fire scuttle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that cast iron's big enough to really be a scuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And, most of that stuff is fire, like gas-based. And so we like the idea of being able to manage that a little bit differently with natural fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And natural fuel cooking is just on the rise. People are pushing back against gas for various reasons. And I think Kudu's, it's just good timing to be able to do so many things, whether it's charcoal briquettes or lump charcoal or wood or a combination. It's a really simple product to use, and the flavor's outstanding.
And I'm going back. I went back a long ways through your photos. I'll be honest there, but I saw some photos of a big rectangular Kudu grill, and a whole hog was being spit roasted over it, rotisserie style. Is that something that is in your product lineup, or is that something that you might still be working on?
So we came out with this catering unit, and it was massive, and basically had 10 elevation bars on it, and the two endpoints were larger and came with this electric rotisserie where you could do a whole hog. And we thought that it was going to be like this amazing idea. And it was, but the price point was prohibitive. And a lot of our chef partners and our catering partners said, wait a minute, I don't think you understand the power of the Kudu unit, the base unit. Like, I can cook for 200 people without blinking an eye on one Kudu grill. And what I'd like is to create a modular version of this product. So what we've got in the works and what will be coming out later this year is what we call like a Suvla bridge. So it's a bridge that the width of the Kudu, 24 inches, but it's also the length of 2 Kudus plus 2 inches. So it's about 50 inches wide, and that connects to regular Kudu. So you've got this bridge, and now you've got this ability to cook over 3 or 4 or 5 grates, all at different heights, all at different temperatures, and you could put a hog between the two. You could still be having 2 Kudu grills. And what the chefs and the caterers are saying is, look, we've got so many events. Sometimes we do a partnership with a lot of other chefs, and I just want to take one Kudu. Sometimes I'm doing an event by myself, and I need to do starters and mains and desserts, and I can have the whole system, and I can choose what I take with me, where I don't. It all packs up. I mean, I put 20 Kudu grills in the back of my Toyota Tundra. It's a standard bed pickup truck for Charleston Food and Wine this year. We're one of their main hosts of Charleston Wine and Food, and it's a great event for us. And literally, I packed 20 grills in the back of my truck, all of them in one. You can't pack, how many Kamado grills can you put in the back of one truck? How do you pick them up if you're going to do it?
That's right.
It's really incredible. So that is where we're excited. We're very excited about what's going to be happening later this year from a larger scale version. And it's also going to be the kind that breaks down just like the main product, and you can use it how you want.
That's beautiful, man. And something else, when you were talking about how many Kamados can you put in the back of your truck, it depends on whether or not you broke it on the way there, which is not something that you have to worry about with a cast iron fire pit style grill. And boy, I'm noticing the photos with all kinds of different celebrity chefs. I like the photos of Andrew Zimmern wearing your hat around. That got a chuckle out of me. I was like, wow, that is amazing. How does it feel to kind of get that?
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of recognition. He
loves this product. I think so. I think these chefs understand that, this product is so easy to use, but they can do things that, every consumer wants you to open up their kitchen to them. If I go in a restaurant now, I see the food cooking. I'm a part of that experience. It's that whole atmosphere of like this, hey, let's remove the veil from in between the person providing the food and the person consuming the food. Well, it's no different at home. I mean, if you're cooking on the Kudu, you're going to have every single person at the party around there. And they're going to want to see the food. They want to talk to you. They want to feel the fire. They want to hear the sizzle. It's unavoidable. It's literally in their DNA. They cannot avoid it. And then, you don't get that same experience around other products. And so, I love Kamado grills. I love pellet grills. They're really cool. They serve a great function. They're great at what they do. But what's great about the Kudu is that it's so different that it doesn't replace those products. So for those people that are looking for that next grill, the Kudu's the perfect thing, because what that allows you to do is you still can use those other products and then be doing something on the Kudu that is very entertaining. And then sometimes when you're not using those other products, then you can do everything on the Kudu. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a reasonable investment, being under $500 to get started with the product line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. And I mean, what you said before, it's the reason why the kitchen becomes the gathering place if you're at a party. I mean, I talk about it quite a bit on this show, but when you're doing a house party, people tend to gather in the kitchen because it's not just about that's where the food is, but also that's where the cooking is.
Exactly.
There's
right.
a kind of an inherent or an innate drawing to where the cooking is and where the fire is. And, what you've done is you've created an outdoor kitchen system that everyone can gather around. And I commend you for that.
So there's this, Windermere Cave outside of Kimberley, South Africa, is the oldest evidence of food being cooked over fire. It's 2 million years old, and there's remnants in this cave of charcoal and food, and it's really an incredible story. But it's to me, I think it's not ironic that there's so much live fire cooking within that country and those people and how they act. And to your point, if you think about it, before fire, there was no reason to ever commune. People didn't get together, and they were on the move all the time. And then all of a sudden we got fire, and we all gathered around it. The fire couldn't move other than a wildfire. And so everybody started coming together to survive. And then they started cooking food over fire. And they saw it was even, had value. And so, like, to your point, the kitchen is where that same thing takes place. And whether you're into the primal aspect of it or not, it's in you and it's unavoidable. And so when you tap into that, there's some incredible experience and value that you and all the people that you choose to gather with can really enjoy. And that's what the Kudu Grill is all about.
Yes, I love that. I'm sold. You've got a new customer. I cannot wait to run out and grab a Kudu Grill. And I really do encourage our listeners to go and check out what you guys have going on as well. KuduGrills.com, Kudu Grills with an S.com is where you can find all their product lineup, buy them. Make sure you're making your way over to their Facebook page too. They have got a ton of stuff. You post lots of photos there, and I'm very impressed with all of them. And I know that my listeners will be too. So we are just about out of time, my friend. I want to thank you once again for coming on. It's been a fantastic talk. And look at me. I didn't talk about your Defender 110 even once, besides that one time that I just said. I'll have to have you back on for a 3BQ episode, okay?
Well, this has been a true honor, and we're very excited to be a part of this program. So thank you so much for thinking about us. Thank you,
Stebin. You take care. And there he goes. What a cool conversation with him that we had. And how eclectic is that background, you guys? Seriously. I mean, a lawyer, a car guy, an overlander, trying to do his own thing, come up with his own products. It's interesting. I find that every single person that I talk to on this show, they all have two things in common. They're all very successful, and they all come from incredibly diverse backgrounds. And I suppose that really shouldn't come as any surprise. We all draw off of our own personal experiences and our own backgrounds all throughout life. All of our experiences, they all come together as one in this thing that we have as a personality, as our background, the way that we respond to the world. And it's just always very impressive to me when I can talk to somebody that just kind of has a little bit of a different view on the world. They see a need and they fill that need. And I'll tell you, the world would be a better place if more of us could do that. And it's something that I always strive for. And I know that it's something that you guys strive for too. That is the beauty of this food community, this food family. And I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I want to thank you for telling a friend. If you enjoyed this show or any of the other episodes that we've done, throw us a like, throw us a share. We really appreciate it. Let someone in your life know that you are listening to something that really has made an impact on you, and you want it to make an impact on them as well. So one more big thanks to Stebin Horne for coming on from Kudu Grills. And for Stebin, this is Andy, and we will see you next time.